Good evening, and welcome to tonight's Selectmen meeting in Acton for July 22nd, 2020. We'd like to call the meeting to order. All right. Pledge of Allegiance first. Can everybody hear me? Beautiful. All righty. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, so we're going to call our meeting to order again, Acton Selectmen meeting, the 22nd of July, 2020. We did our pledge. Town Administrator, it's your turn, I guess.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So just a small list tonight, a few things to go over. First of all, regarding the committee openings, and I apologize, Kim, I think you're the only one that doesn't have this in their packet. Not going to really go through names. I'll make sure, Kim, you get your hands on this tomorrow.
Okay.
But we have been working on the appointment list, what you guys have in front of you, the committees that we can discuss. Board assessment and review hasn't had any members in a while. We're going to start advertising and really reach out for that. Board of assessment and review. Capital improvements, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people who are interested in being appointed. The cemetery committee, so far I've only heard from two of the 3 that are expired, so I'm waiting for one more on that. Not real time sensitive, but remember, for some of these, the appointments run out July 31st. Some already ran out June 30th. Mary Grant, we do have a situation there that we're going to need to discuss. We're going to probably have to have an executive session, the first meeting in August. We've got an issue that we need to discuss. It needs to be an executive session, and I'm not comfortable having an executive session via Zoom, so I don't think that can't wait until the first meeting of August. I'll fill the chair in with her permission. I'll invite the interested party, and we can go from there. Planning board really is the committee that a lot of this comes down to, because they are in the middle of a lot of things, and 2, 4, 5 of them, 6 of them come due. You reappointed them for 30 days. We know that Mrs. Gallagher is not interested in being reappointed. I have heard from, I think, everybody else on the committee, not necessarily in writing as the board requested, but I've heard from most of them. But I also have a couple of new people that are interested in being on that committee. So, I really need some direction from the board as far as what you're going to do in regards to the planning board, because if you don't sign appointments next week, they won't have legal standings come that August meeting. And then the rec committee, David, I'm sorry to say that will be your big project for 2020. We have 1 member right now willing to serve. And again, I'm hoping, I mentioned this to Kim, hoping that maybe in August we can start talking about maybe bringing that director stipend position back. Because if you're going to end up with, only 1 person, 1 or 2 people that want to volunteer, at least we'd have somebody that's receiving a minimal stipend to do some of the paperwork and required stuff as we go along. But something I was planning on putting on an agenda in August.
Okay. I might have 2 people that'll be getting a hold of you. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot, but.
So what is the board's intentions, thoughts on these other committees? What are we going to do?
Which one do you want to start with?
Yeah,
Well, Mary
let's start with the capital.
We can all agree because, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
So capital improvement, I'm waiting to hear from 1 person on there, but I know that Kim, yourself, I know that Joyce Bashke, and I know that Dennis Long have said that they're interested. I believe Rollins was interested.
Okay.
He's on the list, but I did send an email out, and I have not heard back from him, so I didn't want to sign an appointment without hearing back from him. But those top 3 I could definitely do for you, and possibly 4. So that would leave us 1 committee, 1 capital improvement. Cemetery, I'm waiting to hear from Roland. Lois and Steve are willing to be renewed, so that's easy enough if you guys are okay with that.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine.
David?
Mary Grant is we have to have an executive
So we
session
need-
with the chairman. Yeah, we had,
All
if you
right.
recall right before
On the,
COVID,
oh,
What'd you say, Jen?
I said, if you recall right before COVID, the chairman came to us wanting to discuss a personnel issue. Dave, was it? Somebody should be aware of that. We were going to
what committee are we talking about?
Mary Grant.
Okay, yeah.
Remember, remember
Yes.
Kim, you called
Yes.
me at home
Yep.
and we called right.
Yep.
So so let's put Mary Grant off until we can have that executive session.
Okay. All right, so we'll put that off till the first.
Yeah, you need to hear from this individual.
On the capital improvement committee, how many members were we talking about trying to get on that?
Yeah.
Originally.
We have 4 now.
So we got 4.
We have at least 3, possibly 4.
Okay. Now, we did discuss possibly trying to make sure we put a policy together of some sort of guidelines of what their job, what the job of that committee was before we really want to get appointing people to a position we don't really have a guideline on what they're supposed to be doing. With that, I think that'd be a good idea to kind of put something together there of what exactly.
Would it be crazy to have the committee work on it?
I don't know if you want the committee itself that's making rules up for themselves. I mean,
Okay.
I think we tried that once before with a different committee, and it didn't go all that well.
I was just, yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, Michelle,
That's right. That's what I was thinking.
Michelle, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. You've been a pretty big advocate for this committee. Is there something there that you would think that we would need, a job, a description of? Is there some sort of description we can find, either other towns or whatever, what this committee would be, based upon?
Yeah, I think I have, in my history here from the auditor, I think I have several different sample policies, for guidelines for a committee.
Maybe I could come in and go over them with you maybe next week or something, and then we can bring them back to next week's meeting or something and, talk about it. Like if I could go in and talk with Michelle, see what she's got, and then bring them back to you guys, when we could go through them and make some decisions.
I just really like to, before we put the cart before the horse, and then get these people on this committee. They might have a different idea of what they think they're going in to do, and we may have a different idea after the fact. So by getting this done first, we'll alleviate issues down the road, I think.
All right. We all know what we're getting into too. Like they may think it's a good idea.
There's no rush. We've never had a committee, so it's not like we have to have them this week. Not like the planning board and everybody else,
Okay, so we'll hold off on appointments, and Michelle says she's got some samples. Maine Municipal also has some if you're interested in additional ones. So
that'd be great.
Okay, so I won't prepare anything for capital improvements for next week. Cemetery, did we decide you were okay with the 2 members being reappointed?
I would too.
I am.
Lois Michoud and Steve Perello.
Yep.
We're just waiting on one more, right? To get back to you.
Yes.
Another member. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Mary Grant will table until the executive session.
Okay. So the last one we got is the planning board, right?
Correct. That and the rec, which just needs advertising. There's nothing we can do on
I was going to say, I would think we need to advertise more for the rec. Can the school advertise for us too?
I'm not sure. Absolutely. I'm not sure where they'll put it differently, but I can ask them to put something on the website, maybe.
I didn't know if
Do
they sent home.
you think, who was the liaison? Is that you, Kim, for the rec last
You
time?
Not this year. I was.
You was, okay. I don't know, I'm just trying to, seeing we've only got one member that's willing to come back. I'm sure there's other reasons why, but do you think maybe dealing with maybe a lot of this is COVID induced because there's no sports going on, or is this just something there that people just didn't want to do anymore?
There's some personality conflicts that would probably require an executive session as well. Two of the members are for personal reasons of things they've got going on, but it's just not really the best place to discuss it, but there are some other things going on within that committee as well.
Okay.
Yeah, try to push it, I guess, as far as advertising and maybe put it out a little bit longer. We're not doing sports as far as there's no soccer this year, so it's not like we have to get it together before the soccer season. So
Should we, I know we decided, we gave the rec a shot to see if we can, go without having a director. Now we kind of just talked about it briefly, but if we're going to be advertising for people to take this over, it might be a large undertaking. Seeing the people that were on before were pretty familiar with it, and if we start getting some new people in here, maybe it's a little more than the average person can jump right into. If maybe we ought to consider, I don't know, I can't remember if we had. There must be still that money in the budget. It must be money in the budget for that.
$1,500, I think, for the year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys think maybe it's a good idea of maybe advertising for a director at this point?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, need somebody to.
You could have somebody at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to work on the job description. We've got a few things ahead of that.
Yeah.
But, all right.
That's another one. And I don't think they ever got like bylaws and things finished up in that committee. So that's probably something else we need to work on, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Because when they all kinda came
bylaws
in-
bylaws
Not
can
bylaws.
be kind of, policies of how they might do it, but how they might, or procedures, if you will, of how they might run things. But
Something like that. I
bylaws
guess.
can be difficult for some committees because they put in bylaws that trump what the Board of Selectmen can actually do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's that
Yep.
you can't do that. And we found that with a couple of other committees that they have put a bylaw in place saying that this will happen, and really it's the decision of the Board of Selectmen. So
Okay. I guess maybe I'm thinking.
unless they're elected.
I guess maybe more procedural, so that when people come in, they know how to, run things. Because I know there was a lot of confusion the first few years I was here, because it kind of the rec wasn't real big for a while, and then all these people came in, and there was a lot of confusion in that. So.
All right, so that leaves us with the planning board.
Okay. So we have one person that's speaking of, yeah, I'll do that right now. We had a long time member of the planning board, Yoli Gallagher, and she gave us her resignation, and she's been on the planning board for 18 years, and we're very sorry to lose her. And just want to thank her, for all the time and all the years she's put in. She's been a great member, and we're really going to miss her. Either one of you have anything to add?
I spoke to her the other night, and we're really gonna miss her on that committee.
Yeah.
And we need more people like Yoli to step up, and so yeah.
She won't reconsider. She's too busy.
Not the place.
Okay. It's okay. Just
Well, we're sad, very sad to lose her. That's for sure.
Yep.
And with that, so now we have an opening, right? Because now she's gone. So that's something that we have to work on, right?
yeah, she was a good
Right,
asset.
well, you do have two alternates that you can certainly move up one of those two alternates into that regular spot.
Okay.
That, past practice has been that when a regular member's seat opens up,
Okay.
the senior alternate member moves in, but without coming right out and saying it, the board needs to decide if they're going to appoint everybody else first.
Right.
Well,
So,
I know that how they are involved in a lot of pretty long-term projects and stuff. How many new people even asked to? Did you have a few
Two.
people? Okay. So,
three. I'm
would
sorry,
say-
three.
Great. Okay.
3 people.
So we would take one of our alternates, and move them up into Yoli's position. So then we still need an alternative, right?
One alternate. If you keep everybody else that's on the committee.
Okay.
Of the Of the three that you
I think
have,
at this point, we need to keep them.
of the three that we have that are interested, the three new people, none of them are connected with anything going on in town, correct?
Not that I'm aware of. I'd have to double check with the code
Okay.
enforcement officer, but the names aren't tied that in a way that I would know.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could pick them all
Okay.
out of crowd. I don't think so, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to go on the record without speaking to code
Okay.
enforcement.
Okay.
Okay.
So. And what do you two think as far as with everything that's, you
Is
know,
this
going
something
on
we
down
can
there?
do tonight, or can we do this next week?
Well, you
I
can.
know we gotta do it soon.
Well, the
Right.
thing, I mean, if I mean, you can do it whenever you want. You can decide to, you know, to have a meeting. You can, you know, so certainly, you know, you can have an executive session. And I know I've said this, but I'm hesitant to have them via Zoom. You could hold a special meeting and have it in the building with one item on the agenda being the executive session, and call, you know, whomever it is that you could be having concerns about into the building, so that there's not a chance that it's somehow being recorded when everybody leaves the room. But if you don't reappoint on the 29th, then this planning board will not have any authority.
Right.
They may possibly have a meeting on the 30th. I spoke to the chairman today, and she was still trying to decide how long she was going to let the Martell public hearing go tomorrow night. There was some talk about, you know, maybe 10, 11 o'clock, 3 or 4 hours, and then if necessary, she would continue it to the following week, which would be the 30th. So I guess, you know, decide how many members you want to meet with that you're having reservations on or want to discuss, if that's what the majority of the board feels, and maybe schedule a meeting to meet with he or she, you know, next Monday, maybe.
Mm-hmm. How do you two feel about that?
I'd like to have a meeting.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat here. I think before we reappoint everybody, that we got to make sure that we know exactly what direction we're going in here, and whether or not the individuals or individual that we may or may not be reappointing are in the same. They understand the concerns that we're having.
Right.
And make sure that other committee members are happy with the other people on their committee. Because the problem is we cannot have 1 or 2 bad apples on a committee, and then all of a sudden the rest of the committee quits because of a couple bad apples. So we want to make sure this is good for everybody. This is volunteer. These people aren't profiting on this. This is volunteer. So, but we do not want to, you know, we want to make sure this is a good thing for these people. And so we really ought to be having a meeting.
So I guess what I'll need from you, I will schedule and post a meeting, but I need to know, and then not now, please, but I need to know from you individually who I'm requesting to be at that meeting. So if you can call me individually tomorrow. Kim, there's no time you want to meet with?
I think we should all be there. So
No.
The 4 of us.
No,
I know.
That you specifically want to meet with.
Actually, there may be. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
All right. So I need each of you to let me know so I can let the individual or individuals know.
Yep.
Okay.
What time Monday are we thinking?
Whatever works for them. I'm pretty free on Monday, so.
What
time for you, gentlemen?
It would have to be like 6, 5:30 or 6.
The 6 is 6 okay? Or
Yeah.
David?
Yep.
Okay.
This is good.
All right. So let's do that.
It's going to be at the town hall, one item, the executive session only.
Yep.
And we'll set up. Okay.
Okay. 6 p.m. Is that all you have, Jen?
No, that was the first item.
That was the first. Yeah, I figured.
The second item will be quick. The treasurer brought some good news to us today, letting us know that she put in for the first Fema reimbursement, totaled $8,500, and based on the governor's CARE Act and how money is being allocated, she is expecting 100% reimbursement. So good job, Michelle, on getting that in.
Nice. Thank you.
The next one, I have gotten 2 complaints, one regarding upstairs and one regarding downstairs, about staff and or people visiting the town hall that are not wearing masks. I take full responsibility with the one here. I was sitting at my desk. I had my assistant working at the counter who had a mask on, but I did not sit here at my desk. I apologized, and I mean, there's nobody with any distance, but that is a policy. So even if I'm sitting here working at my computer, that will be the case. Committee members, board members, selectmen, planning board,
Anybody,
staff, anybody that's in that building, upstairs or downstairs, has to have a mask on. You know, the staff has asked, you know, if it's just the 2 of us, and, you know, we're working at our desk 6 feet apart, is that okay to not have a mask on? Now, originally, we kind of said yes. But the minute you see somebody other than, you know, your immediate coworker, you need to have it on. You know, the flip side of it, though, is that what if one of us, you know, let's use me for an example, so we're not talking about anybody. You know, what if Michelle and I have the agreement that, you know, we're not wearing masks and I get sick? I mean, have I just exposed Michelle? You know what I mean? Should I, you know, should we all be having it on 24/7 while we're in the building, or what are your thoughts?
I hate to say yes, but I think that's going to be it. Yes.
Anybody that comes into the building has to keep a mask on.
I think the only exception to that could be, and I'll pick on Michelle for instance, if she's working in her office and her door is shut, and it's just her.
Right.
You know, and you know, and if
we don't let her shut her door.
Oh, there you go.
She won't come out.
Everybody's gonna wear a mask then. I mean, that would be the only exception I could.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yep.
That's fair.
But the minute somebody comes in, you know, all masks are on.
So, transportation attendant comes in to, you know, help to do turn his weekly bills in.
Yep.
They both put masks.
They need to put a mask on.
Yep.
Any way to leak? Well, no, I don't know if that would be.
What?
Well, I was thinking about leaving a box of masks outside when they come in, but then
there are masks. There are masks at every entrance.
Okay, I was just wondering about, you know, touching them and stuff like that. People touch them.
Well, I mean, we have them right by the window. I know that code enforcement also has them set up downstairs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like before you come through the door, you should have them on. Could we get you to let everybody know?
I will send an email.
An email.
And I guess, you know, a question I direct to Michelle. I mean, you know, we still have that group of people that will say, I can't wear one medically. I mean, can we 100% refuse to serve them if they're not wearing one?
Can they do what they need to online?
Check with the governor.
The mandate, was never voted on by legislators, so they can't force you to do it.
Michelle?
So, as far as public places with the municipality, I'm not sure whether we can refuse them. We can offer alternative means of delivering services to them if we don't want them in the building. We cannot make employees wear them if they have a health condition.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. Anxiety, asthma.
So the employee has a health issue. Do they have to prove it, or just a word that they're not able to?
They'd have to fill out the form for special accommodation based on the Disability Act. We've done that with another employee early on in this, and they would need to provide a doctor's note with that.
All right. So we'll send out the email, and I'll make sure that we include that if somebody has a staff.
Yeah, definitely. If somebody has something.
What about if it was a committee or a department head that isn't in the town hall, isn't an employee that's just here doing regular work, just regular things, or get prepping for a meeting? Can they get that same exception?
I mean, I would think so. I guess an alternative would be to offer them a shield instead of a mask if they can't.
That's what I was thinking. The shield you have, would that help?
Either that, or they would be able to stay. Either that, or they'd be able to stay at the other area, right?
Right. By themselves.
People shouldn't be walking around upstairs or downstairs without masks.
Without their mask. Yep.
All right, got it. Last week you asked me to check with code enforcement in regards to the planning board meetings at the school. He does not think it's a good idea. His primary first concern, and I guess we didn't really think of this, was, is the superintendent really going to allow the, no offense, I'm not pointing out the non-residents, but a lot of the people that, you know, may come in from other states really to come into the school, and we don't even know if we're going to have the school open for kids yet.
Right.
He would just as soon stay on Zoom. So the question the board needs to kind of address is, do you want them upstairs, if the Martell subdivision is not on the agenda, do you want them to be held upstairs here, or are they continuing Zoom indefinitely?
I got an opinion on this. So, kind of piggyback the last thing we were just talking about. We're talking about masks, and everybody's gonna have masks on, and this and that. And I'm not a big fan. I put them on, try to put a mask on with a beard, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not chopping the beard off for a mask. So, we've kind of got ourselves in a corner here, because what we did last week is we talked about opening up the town hall on the 5th. And then we turn around and say, okay, well, all these committees can get together, da-da-da-da-da. Then we know we have this big deal with the Martell project. We know there's going to be well over 100 people from the sounds of it. And so we may have jumped the gun.
Do you think maybe we should wait another month before we think about it?
I'm kind of thinking, if I can't walk into the town hall, take my mask off and sign my paperwork, then we probably shouldn't be opening up. If it's this bad, then we probably shouldn't be inviting 100 people from another state to a building.
We don't know if they're quarantined.
And don't know if they're quarantined. So we're saying it's all right over here, but it's not all right over here. So what we got to do is we got to set a standard here. Either we're going to do this or we're going to do that. And I'm thinking, you know, I like I said, I walk into a restaurant, I put my thingy on, I sit down, we take it off because we're allowed to. I'm in a room with 30 other people. So I'm disagreeing with a lot of this. It's good for here, not good for that. So now we're talking about they have to Zoom, but nobody else has to. I think really what we ought to do is rethink that a little bit and say, you know what, if we can't operate the town hall like the town hall should be operated at, yeah, exactly. We just continue doing what we're doing until we're allowed to do it functionally, fully functionally. So that's just my thought.
What do you think, Ed?
When I did hear that the planning board was not going to do any meetings at the town hall. They're going to stick with Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
You know, and it made perfectly good sense because they're going to have way too many people to try to have it in the town hall. I agree with the school as far as, you know, it's going to be a cleaning nightmare.
Yep.
You know, if you get 100+ people in there. So the planning board meeting tomorrow night is via Zoom. I think that's
right.
They're expecting a large number for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably ought to have it all or nothing. So.
I mean, I really want to get back to regular meetings. I mean, I know we all do, but.
Yeah. I do too.
Right. I know.
I just want to set an example that one group is not better than another group. And if we just do it flat across the line, and eventually, hopefully, you know, we can all get back together and start doing business like we should be doing.
Right.
I haven't drank the Kool-Aid, so I'm just kind of frustrating to me, you know.
Yeah, me either. I would say, we could backtrack on it and just, you know, leave it at Zoom meetings for now, and you know, until things change. I mean, we were hoping for August 1st, and you know, nothing's going to be any better by then probably because it's only a couple of weeks out. So
right.
Maybe
we can revisit this.
I do think it's dying down some. So yeah, give it some more time.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky in this state. It definitely is, you know, getting better. Do you want to revisit it towards the end of August?
I'd say let's put it off
what do
now.
You guys think?
Revisit it towards the end of August and see. So, yeah, stick with the Zoom.
All righty then.
All right, next item that I have is, actually, I just want, I mean, I fully support whatever decision the board makes, but don't be surprised. I mean, I've posted and advertised it, and done everything that you told me to based on last week. Just want to make sure you know that.
I know.
Okay. Sealed envelope, I just want to make sure that you all received your sealed envelope that somebody dropped off for each one of you.
I did.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Reminder that the public hearing is on the 29th for Willie's. Today we sent out applications and a memo to Article 43 applicants, Langley and Lakeshore Drive. Yearly fire extinguisher checks were done today, and Stuart Parkinson called to follow up with his thoughts on 13th Street / Covewood. And essentially, after a conversation and filling in some blanks for him, the very clear answer from Durwood is this: that even though the town of Acton has voted twice, that Mr. Donahue has been able to point out that they do not want to plow 13th Street and they do not want to accept that deed from Albert LaValle. He clearly knows that and sees those votes. He believes that the town of Acton has the complete legal right to plow 13th Street because it is the only way into Covewood, which is a town-owned road. Period. Put it in writing, and the book is closed.
Good.
Can we get that on a plaque and put it on the wall? Because we get this every year.
Yeah, he's going to write, send us something in a couple weeks. So
Okay,
Thank you.
that's all I have.
thank you. So you're all done?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. So I guess warrants and bills next. I went in yesterday and today. What about you, gentlemen?
I find tonight, everything's all set on my side.
Okay. How about
Go
you, Dave?
to lunchtime tomorrow.
All right. Can we maybe start next week, just to help the girls out, maybe try to get it done the week of? Like there was just some appointments, just different things like that were kind of held back and stuff. So I just thought I'd mention it. And I'm not the greatest either.
What do you mean?
So,
the
for
week of?
example, like last
I'm
week,
making examples. Yeah.
the animal welfare contract that you guys approved at last Wednesday's meeting,
Yeah.
still in there. It only had one signature on it. Whatever from last week's meeting, there's a to be signed folder. Grabbed it today to try to mail some of the stuff out. Nothing else. It all only had one signature on it.
So like if we do something tonight, just maybe try to swing in Thursday or Friday. It'll be out there waiting for us, I guess.
Did I end up signing that? Because I came in Thursday or Friday after the meeting, so that should have been in the box.
Yeah, it was in the box. I didn't. I mean, and unfortunately, and some of the responsibility can be on mine. If I don't, there's no signature on it, but that doesn't mean that you didn't come in. If I didn't hand it to you, I'm trying to have I'm not going to lie. I was looking forward to August 1st. This is the worst time for me in these meetings.
Yeah.
I was counting down the days to August 1st. That's okay.
Just so we can try to help her out a little bit.
No, and I want to put that out there because people constantly say, whatever Jennifer says or wants. So I just want to make it clear that I was counting down the August 1st day. This is a nightmare for me for my position. But we'll work through it, and you guys couldn't have said it in a better way as far as why you decided it, but I can't, you know what I mean? Sometimes I forget, David, you know what I mean? You see how busy we are when we come in. So I've tried to mark a folder now to be signed. I'm going to start Zooming from this office. If I could just dump it in that folder before I even leave and try to keep up.
Appreciate it.
We'll try to make sure we're in there. Yep. All right. So how about, let's see here. I guess somebody can get my glasses on. Need to get a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
All right. So it's, sorry about that. So that's been done and seconded. Now we're going to do we do a vote on this?
Yeah, usually you ask for
So I asked you and then I asked David. Okay,
Well, usually you ask if there's any discussion.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so any discussion? Okay, well then I guess we'll go to the vote. David?
Yes.
Yes.
I think he said yes.
I did. Yep.
Ed?
Yes. You froze.
Am I still there?
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah,
all right.
Okay.
Kim was freezing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say you froze on us.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
We both
You're not moving. All right, so we got the votes. Agenda's been approved. All right, minutes of the last meeting.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, where am I? What did I do?
Dave
I got
approved.
David.
Dave said
I got
yes. I said yes. You didn't say anything, and then you have to.
Oh, I gotta do it too. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yes. All right. So we got 3 yeses, so we have approved
Okay. There you go.
the agenda. All right. So now we move on to minutes of the last meeting. Did anybody read the minutes of the last meeting?
I did.
Look here.
Good. You telling all of us to look there? I did. So can I get a motion?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of July 15th.
Seconded.
All right. How about a second? I can.
Ed seconded it.
Seconded. I second.
All right. All right. All right. All righty. So the motion's been made and seconded. How about a discussion? Any discussion? No? All right then. Well then, we'll take a vote. Ed?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we've approved the agenda. All right. I mean, minutes of the last meeting. Sorry. All right. Now, department head and committee chair updates.
So if I could, before you jump to that, I neglected when I pointed out your sealed envelopes that you guys all got. That was my cue to point out the Jillia stuff as well. Not just Jillia, but I wanted to make sure and go on the record that I have sent you probably at least 6 or 7 emails, and I've printed off copies of everything that's come in, just so that even though I have clearly reminded the individuals of what my position and what the board's position is, as long as they continue to CC me in these books, you guys got them. So I just wanted to make sure you go on the record that you are receiving those documents. And public hearing is tomorrow night at 6:30. And more than one person has asked me to ask you to attend, each one of you.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be attending. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right.
So no department heads, Kim, that came to me. I've got a few things under new business pertaining to them.
Okay. All right. So
And I'd like to ask and see if we can get some of the department heads to see if we get the road commissioners the next couple of weeks or something there. I got a couple questions.
Okay, so I did email both road commissioners and the board. I think and Michelle.
I lost him.
Can you hear me, Kim?
I can now.
Okay. So the road commissioners were asked to attend tonight's meeting in regards to RSMS, payroll timesheets, and a few other things. The road policy, I know that the treasurer sent it over, and I know that I emailed both of them. So I expect that they're both on tonight.
Okay.
I can see Will. Let's see if I can get a hold of Joe.
Well, all right. And you said you had some questions?
Well, I just
Dave?
want to make sure that, I mean, we have to go through this, the time card policies and figure out all this stuff to make sure that they're on board and, see what the plans are. We are in July.
Right.
Neither road commissioner has come to us to give us their projects for the
Right.
near future, and I would think that if they're going to get anything done this year, on
Right, they need
somebody's
to.
schedule, they probably ought to be doing that.
All right. So we want to talk with them now?
I will let Will in. I don't see Mr. Letourneau, but again, you guys were CC'd in that email asking them to be here tonight. Will, I'm trying to turn your video on and camera and unmute you. I'm going to mute myself and try to get a hold of Joe while Will catches you up.
Okay.
Will, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You want to turn your video on? Yep, I can hear you.
Okay.
There he is.
Ah, there we go.
So Will, while I'm trying to reach out to Joe, you want to tell the board a little bit about what you got planned and just reiterate to them that you're reviewing that ordinance, the road commissioner ordinance often, and you know what needs to come before them?
Yeah, I have, well, first of all, I'm going to be meeting with, the gentleman from Pike, hopefully tomorrow. He was going to call me back and we're going to go up on the H Road and, get an idea of what I'm planning on doing up there. Then I've talked to Abbott Hill Tree Service. I got some tree work I got to do. And once we get the, just, the rates and whatnot figured out in my, workman's comp and stuff, I got to pull some shoulders on the H Road, then we're going to start working on the H Road to get that all set for paving. And we got some brush we got to cut, some trees we got to clean up here and there. But by the 1st of August, we'll be going, I hope, pretty good there, getting that section of the H Road started so we can get that paved. And we got a bunch of shoulder work we got to do, some ditching we got to do, some culverts we got to replace. So I'll have a lot coming for you, scope of work and everything like that. I'm still going to give that to you guys before every project. And once we get going, I'll have an update for you guys every week like I used to.
Yeah, I know you're busy. Well, I just, I know it's July. You know, winter's coming fast. Remember, acting fair. Summer's over, so and that's only a month away now. So, well, it should be anyways. But I just want to make sure that you guys are getting your plans ready, because I'm sure you want to work.
Oh yeah. I'll have the minute the guy from Pike, Greg Brown. I called him today. He's supposed to leave me. He was supposed to. Hopefully he's going to call me back tonight. Hopefully I can meet him tomorrow, Friday. Then we can go up there and get a plan of what we plan on doing up there. And then the minute I get it okay and we get that figured out, we'll get up there. Jake Bentley, I'm going to have him from Abbott Hill. They're going to keep doing some high prune tree, some pruning for me up on the highest spots we can't get to. And we got a lot to do. So I'll have some scope of works coming up for you guys. And like I said, I'll start giving you guys updates when we get going.
I'd like to talk a little bit. Actually, David, I haven't seen you, but I'm sure you knew. We had also talked about doing like a 3, a 5, and a 10-year plan with the road commissioners. And I was just thinking, when do you think a good time of year would be to have them do that for us? It's just kind of a general. It doesn't mean they are going to have to do it, but I mean, it would be nice if we had something so that, like, when the road commissioners, if they don't take the job again or they don't decide to run, you get somebody new coming in. So you have some of that. These were some plans that they had.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you, Ed. I mean, either one of you. But
Probably no good time to do it, but
I didn't know if maybe like October is.
They worked on it about any time. Just over the.
Well, when would we like it?
Yeah, I would say we could put a deadline to it and just say, have it to us by.
I think the best time for them to do it. Roads are shut down in the spring.
Okay.
At that point, you see all the bumps from the winter time. That's usually where the roads are usually at their worst.
Okay.
That's a good time when the roads are shut down and they're all cold patching. They should be able to gather up, what they want to be doing in the future. I would think, like April, May, something like that, right before budget season. That would be. I would think
it would be nice to have that when you go to budget season too. When we're out there, you can say, "Hey, this is what we're planning down the road and stuff." How do you feel about that, Will? Does that give you enough time to?
Yeah, I know. We've talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
The road committee's brought it up. You guys brought it up, and I mean, whatever you guys want to do. I mean, I'll give you. I know we talked about 1-year plans to. 1 and 3 and 5-year plans. If that's something we want to get into, that's fine. And even if I think about it, I think it may be in the road commission ordinance. I believe so. At least a 1 to 3 year plan. I believe.
Yeah,
so.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so there
are
a couple of things under there that have dates that tie them already to a September 1st deadline and November 1st deadline. So before we get
those didn't seem to work.
But wait a minute.
Yeah, help me here.
That's in the ordinance. So that date, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work. It's an ordinance.
Okay. So we can't.
Those dates will work.
So what was September 1st?
September 1st, I'm looking at it, was the annual report letter.
Okay,
The
all right.
November 1st was road commissioner shall inspect all town roads and give a status of all needed repairs by November 1st. I don't believe the plan is in there, Will. I'm reviewing it real quickly, but I don't think that was ever put in there. I know we talked about it.
Or maybe it's in the, was it in the,
Road committee.
not the roads committee, but the, oh my gosh, you know, when you become road commissioner, you get your paperwork. Isn't it in there, like what it tells you your job entails?
No, state statute governs what they really have to do, and there's
No,
definitely.
but I thought we made up.
Well, there's
at
a
least I
road
worked on-
commissioner ordinance.
Okay,
There's a road committee ordinance and a road commissioner ordinance that were both
All right.
adopted by the voters. And the road commissioner is what I'm looking for.
okay,
That's what I'm looking at in regards to the deadlines. So,
okay. Well,
but you know,
we know that,
I want to say in the road commissioner, there is something in there because I remember we talked about it. And I think, and I do believe when we were talking about it, I think probably almost 2 years ago now, we did talk about having something in there by springtime, like David said, in the spring, you know, would be a good time to have it.
I mean, there's a lot of things in here. And I don't want to start reading off the things out loud that may not be being done now.
right, why don't we,
everybody needs to
could
look
we
at the
for
road
this year?
commissioners need to review this.
Yeah, maybe we could get them to review it, go through it, both road commissioners, maybe we could give it to them this week, have them go through it. I mean,
It's on the
if
town's
it's,
website.
if we've already set a date up as November 1st, then we'd have to do that this year. We can change it, can't we?
I think the
I mean,
November
can't we-
1st was to make up a list of road repairs need to be done. I don't think that's like
Exactly.
The capital plan, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not in here at all. I've read it twice
Okay.
now.
That's
All
just
right,
saying,
then,
okay, I
if
gotta
it's not
fix
in
this.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Then let's go for spring. I mean, if we're not tied to anything, then let's
I-
1st of
I-
April.
The
I think
only,
yeah.
the only problem with going for spring is you're way beyond your timeline for budgets. Budgets usually start in February.
Yeah,
And that's where the November 1st, sorry, Dave,
Maybe that's why
yeah. Well,
But-
because it said the status of any needed repair, so you could incorporate that and roll it into a capital improvements at the same time.
Yeah.
You could, but at the same time, because I'm looking at these guys' schedule, you know, summertime's busy.
Yeah.
Fall is even worse because they're getting ready for winter. Springtime, usually driving around, roads posted, nothing to do. But the thing is, I understand your point, Ed, but at the same time, when they come to the finance committee and the selectmen with their project for the season, this year, they should, if they come in with that plan, right, doesn't mean they're actually going to be getting money for that anyways.
Right.
So what you're going to do is, you know, say Will comes in and I'm going to do all the H or whatever, and that's going to be voted on that. That's separate from the actual plan beyond that. You know what I mean? So I don't think it would screw them up any worse than it's already. You know, I don't think it'd be a big deal.
Yeah, because these plans aren't for that year. I mean,
Exactly.
we're asking for long term, just to
Yes.
give us a long term. The 3, the 5, and the 10 is what I thought we had picked. So it's just something I wanted to make you aware of, and maybe try to get, just think about it. I'm pretty sure, like, okay, Joe, when he put in his, whatever you want to call it, wish list, before the budget, I mean, that's pretty much a 3, 5, and a 10-year right there, because those are things he, wants to do. So.
Now, I did something similar to that when I was road commissioner. I gave a 5-year, and I gave a list of the project, a rough cost, because you don't know what the pavement's going to cost 1 year and this and that and everything else, and it's pretty easy to do. But Will, I'd like to say I did your time card last week with the description that you had on the back. I liked that. That was very good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep doing those right along, so you guys will have pretty good detailed
Appreciate
idea.
that.
And then the guardrail on the H road, I'm gonna call them again tomorrow. Somebody was supposed to call me when they're down here, and nobody's called me, so I'm gonna call them again so I can get that fixed and straight and get that taken care of.
The other thing, just to point out to the board real quick, J of the ordinance says the road commissioner shall maintain and keep a detailed maintenance log on all town equipment used for road maintenance and will submit these to the selectmen yearly for review. So there's no town equipment, correct?
Yes, there is.
There is, okay.
Wait a minute. What do we have?
We've got the town sanders.
That's
There's
right.
some power
Yep.
brooms. We still got that front runner, which I don't know. Yeah.
Let me
Bushes.
let me remind you a little bit why this is important. So first of all, the whole road commissioners have to be held accountable to what the voters decided. If the road commissioners don't follow the ordinance, that falls back on the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
And that will, if it gets to a point where they're not, and we'll use Will for an example because he's here, certain things aren't being done and you don't enforce it, then that's going to affect you, you know what I mean, the next time you come up on the ballot. I mean, it's your job to make sure this stuff is happening. And there are several things on here that, you need to spend some time reviewing. Because it's been a year now, and unless I missed it, I don't think in the last year since this has been approved, those logs have been turned in.
No.
Yeah, I think the
Those
we're talking about town equipment. I think it's probably taking inventory of the cones, stuff like that. Just giving a list of the stuff that's been bought and how many cones got stolen on the side of the road and have to be replaced and all that stuff. But with the way that we're doing the subcontracting thing, we're gonna have less and less town equipment. So the inventory, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Is it something that we need to start doing since we've
It's an ordinance.
said it's an ordinance? So I guess we need to figure out some sheets and get them set up.
The road commissioners can just write them out. I mean, there's nothing,
Is that okay? Do they
Yeah, I
need
mean, as
anything
long as you're
special?
making an attempt to follow the ordinance.
And you
It's
said
their
monthly?
ordinance, it's their position. I mean, I would say they
Okay.
can just write it out and we can attach it just so that when somebody walks in the front
Listen,
door and wants proof
got it.
that, Billy has done, I would say Billy Bob has done A, B, and C and the selectmen have enforced it.
Can you read that section where it says maintain and whatever town equipment?
The road commissioner shall maintain a complete and detailed maintenance and log of all town equipment used for the road maintenance and will
Okay,
submit these to the selectmen for yearly review.
Yeah, okay. I was a little confused on that.
So they give it to us for yearly review. Would it be
Done.
when do they?
I mean, just something that you could go on the record to
Yeah.
show that it's being
Yep.
done. And I don't want to go backwards, but Acton has
No,
its
but let's go
ups and
forward
ups.
the right
Well,
way.
it has its ups and downs, and if there are different people in position or different people in selectmen seats, they will start calling you on it. I mean,
Right.
nobody wants to have this conversation, but let's face it, there is conversation about Mr. Winchell possibly being recalled. This will be used against the Board of Selectmen if the Board of Selectmen are not enforcing the ordinance put in by the people. That's what is done. It's your responsibility. I'm just telling you.
Okay. So, what do you guys think?
You guys want to list August 1st, something like that? Is that what you guys want? I mean, I can do it. It's no big deal. If that's
Take an
what you guys-
inventory?
Sounds good.
Yeah, take an inventory for August 1st, bring it to us, or, and then we'll do it again, I don't know how long in between, yearly, 6 months. I guess we
Ordinance
can
says
do that.
yearly, so let's not do it
Okay,
when we have to.
can we do it just, okay, that's fine. I mean,
That only gives them a week and a half to, to get on that. I mean, is that gonna be
does
enough?
that give you enough?
Fine. I mean, I
We
can
could go September 1st.
Yeah, if you want to do that, that's fine. I mean, because most of the stuff I have is here at my house, and then the little bit of stuff that's down in the town garage. I mean, the other town standards at my house, and all my signs and stuff like that are here. So, I mean,
So in
Let's get it done.
an effort to help Will as well in this, so Will's gonna make that his next priority because this ordinance was passed in July of 19, we're in July of 20, so let's not waste any time, let's get it in, Will, just so it can get done and get off your plate.
okay.
The ordinance says a year and you don't want it to be held against you later on that you didn't get it done,
Right.
that, you know what I mean? So you've
All right.
got 9 days, you can do it.
Pass that on to Joe as well. Think
Yep.
it follows suit with him too.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'll send him an email.
Thank you. And I guess start thinking about the 3, the 5, and the 10-year plan.
So we're
In
gonna
the
make
back of
that
your
like,
mind.
are we gonna make that November 1st, like, or what are you guys thinking?
I think David said April, right? Is that what you thought, David?
I was just throwing out some, where I thought there's a bit low, probably not so busy time would be that point in time when mud season's hit. Will, what do you think? I mean,
April. I mean, you're always thinking about, what you're gonna do next. But no, I can have a detailed plan, something like that in April. That's no big deal. I can do that.
I think by doing it in April, whatever he does right now, okay, would make it so that he's way in the mode of working, doing his thing, knowing what the cost, everything else. Plus, he's working with the paving guys at the same time. I think it would work.
Okay. April 1st. Okay, 3, 5, and 10. What about you, Ed?
That's fine.
You sure?
Mr.
Okay.
Letourneau, I think, is just joining the meeting.
Okay.
I would ask, in the sake of time, because he wasn't here at 6, if we could just either send him an email or maybe we could have the liaison give him a call and catch him up on everything that we've discussed, because we still have a lengthy list of things.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
You can do that.
Did you say he's here? I can't see him.
I believe I just said Joe, so I guess I can't.
Okay.
So, the deadline for inventory would be August 1st, and we're looking at an April 3 to 5 year plan.
Yep.
3, 5, and 10.
5 and 10.
Yep, 3, 5, and 10,
3, 5, and 10. Okay.
please. And September 1st, what do we have to do? Get their annual reports in.
Yeah, so I'm going to send I'll print out the ordinance, highlight the ones with dates, and highlight the ones that aren't being followed as clearly as they should, and we'll email it out, and you guys can review them,
Okay.
and then just call David directly with questions.
All righty. So do we have any more department heads or committee chair updates?
We didn't have that one.
You know,
No.
so want to move on to old business?
Hey, I'm the boss.
All right, let's get moving then.
It's moving.
Okay.
Form pond sign, the first ones, remember last week you guys approved a no littering. How do you feel about take in what you take, what was it, Kim? Bring in what you bring out? Or they've got some word verbiage that they would like, if it's okay with you, and now they'd like 2 signs. Let me see if I can just find it real quick. Something about, they had a couple of ideas. What do you want the sign to say? Do you really care? Do you want us to use no littering?
How about you two?
Yeah, there should be some stock signs you can find that say no littering, and
Yeah.
That's all you wanted to say? They can't choose the verbiage?
I think just getting 2 stock signs that say no littering. Let's start with that, and
Got it.
Simple.
Simple.
Like it.
Me too. Next on the agenda.
Next on the agenda, B, personnel policy.
I asked you
Has anybody gone over their personnel policy?
I'm not.
I'm going to truthfully say I have not got through it.
No,
So
me either.
could we go one more week, David?
Yeah, a week would be good, please.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, I got halfway through, but not all the way through. All right, so we'll move on to new business. A, health insurance.
Michelle.
Oh, she says, finally. Sorry, Michelle.
So I reached out for quotes. Our plan renews September 1st. I picked, all should have in your packet, something a little better than what we have, the plan that we have now, and something that's less than what we have now. the one that's a little better than what we have, so we put the budget tight. So I don't really suggest that. Because it would only leave us about just under $3,000 wiggle room in that health insurance budget. And we do have employees that are eligible that are not currently taking it, but if they had a life event change, they could sign up. So we want to leave a little buffer in there.
Okay.
The low end, there's a savings on the budget there. It's a huge deductible. It's $12,000 deductible for a family. It's not HSA compatible. So that would be $12,000 out of a family's pocket before insurance even kicked in. Of course, it's cheaper for the town, but we have to consider the employees as well.
Yeah, that's not even insurance.
Right.
It's catastrophic insurance. That's all that is.
Exactly. And then there's the middle of the road there. There's still a $30,000 below budget. And this would allow us to keep the HSA at 85% coverage and the premiums at 85% coverage. If we went with the little more expensive plan, the better coverage, we would have to drop that HSA down to 75%. But even still, that would be tight on the budget.
We don't ask the employee to pay any towards this, do we?
15%.
15, okay. So we cover 85.
Right.
Okay. And that's pretty standard for towns, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd love to go with the better coverage, but like you said, it's only it's less than $3,000, well, about a $3,000 buffer.
Right.
Right.
So,
We probably should stick with the one we have right now.
stick with the middle plan.
Yeah, because the
plans that are available to us, just because we have people on the plan that don't reside in Maine, and plans are specific, generally specific to the state, the better plans.
okay.
So there are some of the plans out there that are a little cheaper, but because not everybody is a Maine resident, then we don't qualify for them.
What do you think, David?
I think right now probably stick with what we got.
How about you, Ed?
Yeah, that's what we got to do.
Yeah, I feel the same way. So
Yeah, I don't want to. So this is what we have now, Michelle. There's no.
Yes, the same exact plan that we have now.
Okay. No change of any. What's the change to the employees portion? Anything?
There would be no change if we kept this current plan.
Okay. Yeah, stick with what we got.
So, do I have the board's permission to sign this one-year contract with Aetna?
you do.
I approve it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want a motion? Make a motion to approve the one-year contract.
I'll make.
Oh, somebody else? I'm used to doing that.
Yeah, I'll make
All
a
right.
motion that we approve.
You make a motion.
Make a motion. We approve the health insurance plan that we have now for Michelle's research.
Ratner. I'll second that.
All right, so we've got a motion made, seconded. So, any more discussion? No? All right, well then, let's take a vote. David?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Yes. So it's approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
All right.
Thanks for the layout. It was helpful.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, so next thing is B, Goat Hill.
But it should really say Three Rivers Land Trust. This is the MOU. I think that Paul Davis replied to the email saying he's not tonight. I think I might have him here.
Can't hardly hear you.
Yeah.
I haven't moved. Is that better?
A little.
So Carl is on. Carl, you there?
Yes.
All right, so what you have in front of you as the board is what they call an MOU. It's basically a memo of understanding. It's an agreement between Three Rivers and the town. This is regarding the land down by Hanson Pond. So you want to fill them in, Carl?
Yes. Three Rivers is going to develop a trail down into Hanson Pond, and also a water access point there where we would put a couple of canoes, so if people hike down in there, then they'd also be able to get out on the water. We need a permit from the DEP on this, and if we can partner with the town, then it can be a permit by rule, which would be a lot easier for us than if the land trust applied for the permit on their own. So we would be looking for, we would do the application of the permit, but we would looking for the town to be a co-applicant and also sign the application for the permit.
Where exactly is Hanson Pond?
Hanson Pond, if you went out the H Road and where the really sharp turn to the left is, where the Pepin's gravel pit is.
Yeah.
So the trailhead and parking lot would be very close to where the entrance to the gravel pit is, and then the trail would go off to the right there and down to the pond.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't see any issues. There's no liability problem for the town, is there?
No,
No.
No.
no. The land trust has insurance.
Okay, so anybody that uses the canoe, if anything were to happen, that's on the land trust, not the town of Acton.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. No, we have liability insurance and that type of thing. So yeah.
You have this type of thing on in other towns?
Do we have it in other towns?
Yeah.
No, this would be the first time we've done this.
Okay.
I hate to do this to Carl, but I mean, just a thought, I guess, looking out from the town side, you've got the option of letting, legal look at it, or we could do something more simple and add a bullet, assuming, add a bullet that clearly states that Three Rivers, assumes all risk. Or maybe it's not necessary, but just a thought.
Not a bad idea.
I think it would be a good idea.
Just add the bullet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, with that, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, me too. This will be great.
I'm good with it.
All right, Carl, so I'll send you what I have in mind for the last bullet and
Yep.
prepare for the board to come in and sign.
Yep. Sounds good.
So can the board make a motion with the addition of one bullet regarding liability on Three Rivers? Motion is signed.
I'll make a motion. We sign the memorandum of understanding with Three Rivers Land Trust with the addition of the bullet that we've spoke about with liability.
I got that.
I'm all for it too. So it's been. Any other? Actually, I guess we've got a motion, and we've had a second. Any other discussions about it? No. All right, then it's been moved and voted. And we have to come in and sign it.
We got a vote.
Vote. Yep. All right. So Ed, your turn.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
And I say yes. So then we'll come in and sign it whenever it's ready. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, under new business C, tanker truck.
So the next item on the agenda is the minimum specs that the fire chief has put together in regards to the fire rescue replacement tanker truck. He does send his apologies that he wasn't able to be here tonight. He had a conflict, so I told him I'd move it forward on his behalf. Really, this is more just of an FYI. It's something that, with the board's approval, obviously the voters have already approved it. Ed, as the liaison, and Rick and I will work on putting the opening statement and the closing statement. We'll get it advertised. We'll put a time frame on it, and the sealed bids will eventually come before you guys to open at a meeting down the road. But just wanted you to see what specs he was looking at.
Okay.
So you want to look over that? Just let me know in the next day or two if you have any questions, and Ed, I'll send you another final draft with some more wording on it.
Okay.
Alrighty. D, road policy?
So last week we looked at this policy for the first time. You guys made the decision that August 1st was the date you'd be looking at. There was, I think, the addition from Mr. Winchell indicating that the state and federal DOT regulations in regards to drug testing, registrations, inspections, everything should be followed. So we did add that line at the bottom. So if you want to take a look at that and see if it's what you had in mind. If so, we'll prepare it for signature.
I like it.
Yep.
Yep, looks good.
Okay, so we can
make a motion or?
make a motion to approve it. It'll be in your box.
All right, so let's make a motion to approve the payment of road wages policy.
Make a motion, we approve the payment of road wages policy.
Second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. So any discussions or are we good?
I'm fine.
Good.
Okay, so let's take a vote. Ed?
Yes.
Thank you. David?
Yes. Yes.
And I say yes too, so, all right. We did that. Do we want to do E or F first? What was that?
Is that a trick question?
Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking, let's get through F. Let's do F first.
In all fairness, just because I'm always that person, the board of selectmen already approved and voted on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
I'm
All
trying
right,
to
we'll
help
stay
you.
in line then. All right, so let's talk about E first. I should know we're talking too much. That's all. All right, so E, the RSMS. It's back. I've had a few different, inquiries about if it's being done. We did vote. We did go and buy the system. People did go out. They got measurements. So I just feel like it's time to maybe try to start putting this in place. I mean, I know that the road commissioners need to do different things, and it's going to be a work in progress, but hopefully we've got Article 43 up and running, and let's try to maybe get working on this. I have no idea how long it's going to take to even get it operational, but I know I'd have to work with probably Michelle and the road commissioners. Different paperwork they're going to need to, try to fill out and stuff.
I think the first thing we got to do is, seeing this is road based, is the road commissioners probably ought to know what they're getting into.
Yeah,
They should be taking the course, because really at the end of the day, this is their baby. And,
Did Joe go? Did Joe go to that? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember, but it's something to look into.
I don't believe anybody has, as far as I know. But but even if they went last
Yep.
year, it might be a good idea for
Yep.
both road commissioners to go to a new one, because when I went to it, it changed 14 times.
Right, yep,
If maybe even to get a brush up, even if they had, but
that's a
because
good
at the
idea.
end of the day, they're the ones who need to know what they're putting down on paper to implement it to the program. So they should be the first step in the process. And then
All
at
right.
that point, what we got to do is figure out who's going to put it in
Right.
the program, and that's where because I'm on a different side of this.
We had already chosen somebody and we had already moved forward with, the
Yes.
money to do it, so,
But
I mean,
a
that's
year
one of my
went by.
concerns.
Well,
Right.
and just to focus on
We
that,
didn't
because I
do
know
anything.
a few people have said things about that. So a year has gone
Yeah.
by. Those hours are still being advocated. If the employee never got additional hours, she took a part-time job elsewhere. We are
Right.
filling her in. We are using her, and she may have a few extra hours, but I want to make sure it's very clear that, this office is extremely busy.
Right.
And as much
I know.
as I'm not saying, I don't want it to be like, well, the hours are there and she's not doing anything. I mean,
No, I'm just saying that we did approve them, but we just haven't gotten to
right. So there
doing
is,
anything, so.
there is a 20, and there's a 20-page user guide, on the software that comes with the server that someone can look at. And I mean, if it's the direction of the board that the road commissioners need to learn the software first.
They should know it. This is something we chose to do, and they definitely should know how to, that way they know what they need to be, writing down, what documentations, to be inputted into the system, so.
So go ahead, Dan.
At the end of the day, like I said, I took the course, and
Mhm. Me too.
it's not really that difficult to implement the stuff. I'm one that has always thought that the road commissioner's job is a road commissioner's job. The town clerk, the administrator, and stuff is not the secretary to the road commissioners. I really feel that they ought to take the course. Even if they have to have help from the road committee to implement this stuff, I'd like to keep it out of the town hall. These guys, the ladies up there, Jen, Cheryl, I forget their girl's name, but they're busy, and I really don't see them having time, especially right now with all this COVID stuff going on. We don't know how long it's going to last, but to pull them off, something that I myself believe is not a good idea anyways, but to pull them off something to do somebody else's job. And, I really think this is an opportunity if they're going to do it, and it's only going to help them out.
Right.
They know what they're plugging in. They know the job more than the person plugging it in.
I would think it would help them too, as far as the 3, the 5, the 10-year plan, those type of things. Once you get all this stuff entered in, you know what you've done, what you haven't done.
Well, the job is more than just going out and cleaning out ditches and sending in payroll every week. I mean, right now with some of the time cards that are being put in, none of that's going into that program right now. So
Right.
by taking the class, you know that your time cards are not going to work for that. So take that, and I honestly think that at the end of the day, it's their responsibility to implement that into that program because they're a road commissioner. That doesn't mean that they have to do clerical work too. No different than doing payroll. They can charge for that. The time that they sit down on that computer
Right.
and implement that
And
stuff.
I would think they're not going to, it's not going to take them that long,
No.
even if they do it monthly or, but to make sure,
It'd be better for them when they do their payroll, implement it.
Right at that time.
Right.
Yeah, because you do it a month later, and
I fully agree with Dave. It should be up to the road commissioners to.
And now is the time because the fiscal year just started. So now is the
Right.
time.
And I think they go back to July 1st this year, which is only a few days back, 8 days ago, and start then. So whatever they've done, from July 1st to now, get that into the system. So we're starting it right now. So
How soon do you think we could get them set up with somebody
So I've been
train?
playing with, we'll find out from the state. I've been reading, Michelle and I looked at it the other day. I've been trying to read through some of the instructions. So it looks like a fairly easy system. It's not bad. It's figuring out where they're going to do what data entry and what kind of changes we're going to have to make to the timesheet. Because right now, Michelle, what exactly do they turn into you that you're not doing? What do they turn in?
So they turn in their time cards, and a summary sheet on the top, but on each individual time cards that we're getting, which we won't be getting once they go to subcontractors.
Right.
There's a little blurb, we cut brush on this road, this road, and this road. When we looked at it together, it was the first time I saw RSMS system. I imagine that they're going to need to have a lot more detail. Length of road, location on the road where they said brush cutting or pothole filling or ditching.
Right now, the
committee put the basic. I'm sorry. So the road committee put all of that basic information in. If you go under the reports now and you look at the list of the roads, all of the surface, the type of road, the length of the road, all of that's in here already. So it's trying to figure out what other stuff, what you want them to add to it.
what we're going to have to do with our new time card system, because like Michelle said, you're going to have subcontractors sending bills in. Okay, so you may not have their time. I still believe their time should be on. Michelle, when we always did the payroll, we always put the subcontractor at the bottom with an amount, Okay, we always did that. That's not happening now. Now they send their thing in and we don't see it on that. I still believe that payroll should at least show them working on those days. But what we really need is an actual description, which we haven't really been getting, because that's what the road commission is going to have to do now, seeing all those people as subcontractors. They're not employees. So what they should be doing is giving a description of the week's worth of work. The tree cutters did this, the paving guys did this, we cleaned culverts, this guy did this company or whoever, and give it
exactly where it was done too.
Exactly, and Will did a good job last week from pole to pole. That's really a lot of that's all you need. House number, whatever, the house number, whatever. Gives you an idea where you worked. And I believe that's what we really have to do. And at the same time, on that payroll sheet, they still should be, some sort of time of something. Because they're charging by the hour. They're not charging by the job. They're still charging by the hour. So they should still be on that sheet. But there are subcontractors down on the bottom of the sheet.
Yeah, I played around with that worksheet this week, and I sent something new to both Joe and Will so that they could take a look at it, see what they thought, and then we could bring something to the board and present it.
Did they have a chance to look at it?
What's that?
Did they have a chance to look at it?
I don't know. Neither one of them has responded yet. I know Will and I actually had a phone conversation about it at the beginning of the week. Or maybe it was the end of last week. I can't remember. They didn't all run, but so hopefully they'll have a time to look at it and come up with some ideas. But it's hard. They're going to have to be on top of their contractors for details because they will be contractors and not employees, and you can't tell them how to write their bills. So it's going to be,
But shouldn't they know what their contractors are doing?
Right, the
or where
road
they're
commissioner
going?
should be able to specify what they did, right? What they hired them to do.
Right.
So even if it's not on that bill.
If you use QuickBooks or anything like that, when you do your billing, I as a taxpayer, even, because we've been contracting our work right along. We've been getting bills from contractors right along. And one thing that I noticed on a couple of them, and we changed them, was, we had 6 hours for this day. Well, I want to know when you started and when you stopped. And that's one thing that the road commissioners are going to have to emphasize with their contractors is, I want an itemized hourly when you started this job and when you got done. That way there, when Joe Schmo comes up and says, hey, I want to know, did that guy work that many hours this week? We should have that sheet so they can go, yeah, he worked from this time to that time, and because they're still hourly. They paid differently, but they're still hourly. If it's a contracted job, that's another whole story. If you're like Pike, where you're getting paid per ton, that's another whole ball game. But when it's hourly, we still need we just don't pay it until they give us the hours they work.
Don't they kind of do that with the subcontractors of like the plowing guys? Just say,
Yeah.
Pat Stevens, I know on his sheet tells, his hours and stuff. So you have them.
And all the road commissioner has to do is look at, because he has to sign off on those anyways. He has to go through every one of those. And so what you do as a road commissioner, and I used to do this, I'd take the subcontractor and put it at the bottom and still put his hours across the bottom of the page. That way there we knew, the other, I'm not going to use any names, but we knew they were on the clock, and say someone calls up and says, hey, I saw him at the coffee shop for 5 hours. Well, we could go back to, he knocked his time off, so it's fine, We just got to be able to do that.
So at this point, David, you know enough about the system where you could help create these timesheets based on the data entry that's going to be able to go into the system? I mean, Michelle and I can certainly review the user manual, and we can give the guys, a couple of weeks with it, but we're going to need to sit down and create it in some sort of workshops before we get too far behind it.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm thinking that, Kim, a workshop, with just regarding RSMS, the road commissioners, but like to kind of have either know the program ourselves. I mean, the training that I could find on it wasn't strictly data entry on what and where things went. I mean, it was on what the program did and what the road committee, the work they already went out and did, but it's the data entry piece.
The data entry, you really got to take the class to really get the data entry part of it, I think.
So I will find out if the class is being offered now.
Okay, that would be good to, see if it is. I know we took it a couple of years ago, but it's been a couple of years, so that doesn't.
All right, so I'll put that on the agenda for next week with training updates.
All right, we'll try to figure out when we can do a workshop.
Yeah, I just emailed over the instructions to the road commissioners and David, and
okay. Can you send me one too?
Sure.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, actually, I went to all three of you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions about this, or are we good for now?
I'm fine.
We move on. All right, F, recycler permit.
This is a yearly recycling license permit for Lake Region Auto. This is 604H Road, something that the board has signed in probably the last at least 15 years.
This is a junkyard permit, right?
Recycle.
Pretty much. Wow.
Recycler license
Yes,
renewal.
You're correct. So I will double check with code enforcement. What'd you say, Michelle?
Over 30 years.
Over 30.
30.
Wow. I will check with code enforcement to confirm that he doesn't have any concerns. He hasn't in the past, but I will check. But assuming he doesn't, can we get a motion to sign it?
Tonight? You want one tonight?
Yeah. And I will withdraw. I'll hold it if codes has any issues.
Okay, so we're going to make a motion to accept. No, actually, how would I say this? I'm going to make a motion.
I got it.
Okay, thanks, Ed. Yeah, give it to me.
I'll make a motion that we accept the recycler license for Lakes Region Auto pending approval from Code Enforcement Office.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. So, how do you vote, Ed?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right, so what do we got now? Public comments? Do we have any public comments?
I did not receive any, but where you're going to be Zooming for all of August, I guess the conversation, do you want to continue doing it the way that you've been doing it, asking them to do it in advance, or are you at the point where you want to open it up?
I like doing it the way we've been doing it. What about you two?
Yeah,
wanna
it's fine.
I mean, do you want to open it up so people can? Or do you
I think possibly, seeing we've been doing it like this for a while, everybody was expecting us to go back to the other way, maybe opening it up. Yeah, I mean, because they can get in just like any other meeting, we've been doing. They can voice their opinion. I think probably open it up, see how it works out.
either way, so that's fine.
Yep. Yeah, I don't care either way.
I'm just getting used to this, but we can do it. Okay. All right. So, any announcements? Anybody have any
So I
announcements?
guess, I'm sorry, Kim.
Go ahead.
Interrupt. Are you opening that up effective tonight or effective next week?
Next week.
Okay.
Yep.
So as of tonight, no public comment was received, and I will advertise. I noticed someone turned their camera on, so I wasn't sure if when
Okay.
you were going effective, but okay.
Yeah. Next week would be, I think. Good. All right. So, anybody have any announcements?
Nope.
All right. Well, with that said, I guess this is the end of our meeting. So, make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
It's been seconded. Moved and seconded. So, good night, everybody, and thank you for dealing with me.
You're doing a good job.
Thanks. Oh, Jennifer gave me a cheat sheet, so I appreciate it. So,
I vote yes on adjournment, by the way.
okay, and how about you, David?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, adjournment's done. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.